Hello and welcome. In this video, we will be seeing how to set up virtual machines, more specifically Linux virtual machines. So first we'll set up a CentOS VM manually on VirtualBox. Then we'll set up an Ubuntu VM manually on VirtualBox. Third, we'll do CentOS VM again, but this time it will be automatically with Vagrant on VirtualBox. Fourth, Ubuntu VM automatically by using Vagrant on VirtualBox. So these four things we are going to do in this session. So if you are wondering why manually first and then automatically, why not just directly go with automatic VMs? That's a good idea. But then let me give you your very first DevOps lesson. If you want to automate anything, you should know how to do it manually. If you're trying to automate something that you don't know how to do manually, then trust me, you will be struggling a lot. And I have seen people making the same mistakes again and again. So your very important lesson number one is know how to do things manually first and then automate it. The reason why we are doing this exercise is because we would be practicing Linux skills. For that, we need a Linux virtual machines. The second is eligibility really. In this entire course, we will be doing few exercises on our laptop, local virtual machines. And for that, you should be aware how to launch virtual machines automatically. Most of our exercise in this course will be on cloud computing environment AWS. But before we get started with AWS, we will need to practice Linux, Bash scripting, and later also few more exercises we have on our local virtual machines. And that's the reason of doing this exercise. Okay, let's get few things straight. We need a 64-bit computer with high-speed internet connection. If you have a 32-bit computer, you will not be able to launch 64-bit virtual machines. If you have Windows 10 or 7, or if you have a MacBook, you have Mac OS, or if you have Linux OS on your desktop, any operating system you have, that's fine. You would have watched prerequisites video and would have completed all the steps in that. So as I said, Windows, MacBook, Linux, anything on your desktop or laptop is fine. From the prerequisites video, you should have these tools. You should have Chocolatey for Windows, Homebrew for macOS, Oracle VM VirtualBox, on which we'll create VMs, Git Bash for Windows or Terminal for Mac, or PuTTY in Windows and Terminal for Mac. Linux, same thing, Terminal. We'll also need ISO for CentOS 7 and Ubuntu, which we'll download. And we'll need Vagrant when we automate the virtual machine setup. Few other tools you may have installed already, like Notepad++ or any equivalent editor, or PyCharm or IntelliJ is also fine. So let me repeat it again. We are going to have VirtualBox and set up a CentOS VM on it. And then we'll set up an Ubuntu 18 VM on it. We're going to do first manually and then automatically. Once we have them running, we'll use PuTTY or Git Bash or Terminal to log in. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started.